Lauren Santagati, and I am here with AJ Agarwal giving you this week's lesson. And this week we're going to be talking about REOs. Now, do you get an REO on every property?
What do you mean?
REO, really exciting offer?
That's nice. I didn't even think of that. Well, Lauren, we would
Isn't
love
that
to
what
get...
it means?
No, that's not what it means. Unfortunately, it's actually pretty boring. What REO stands for is real estate owned.
That is pretty boring.
Yes, it's very boring, and it's also kind of an inapt name, or it just doesn't signify anything. Real estate owned, what does that mean? But REOs is a general designation given to a property that has been foreclosed on by a lender, and they're offered for sale as a foreclosed property, and that's classified as REO.
Okay, so why wouldn't you just call it foreclosed property?
I've been wondering that myself for quite some time, but there must be some deep meaning to it. I'm sure you can Google or Wikipedia it, but it's not called. You can call it a foreclosed property, but the classification of the property is REO.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between an REO property or foreclosed property and just a not foreclosed property? What's the difference for a buyer, seller?
There's two fundamental differences. One is the logistical part of it, which is if someone is having financial issues where they're not able to make their monthly payments, that's one type of a scenario, and they are behind on the payments for months and months and months. They try to sell their property, just try to be able to get just rid of the whole payment. And in last week, as we spoke about the fact that as far as a short sale goes, that will be a short sale, but it still didn't sell when they try to even sell it as a short sale. Eventually, that owner's lender, who they owe the money to, which is called a mortgage, they are no longer able to wait. The lender is going to go ahead and foreclose on the property, which is going ahead and repossessing. So when you think of the word repossession, we think of cars being repossessed. Let's say if you borrowed money to have a car, you have a car loan. Same terminology applied to real estate or homes or property. It's called foreclosure. So the banks will go, or the lender will go, they will foreclose on the property, and they will ask you to vacate the property, and they in turn becomes the owners of the property.
Okay.
That's one. And the other difference I would say, or what's the other difference is generally you can say that foreclosed properties offer an opportunity for a potential buyer to get tremendous savings or possibly a deal in this market. And that's what the buzzword is right now, is everybody wants to get these distressed properties, foreclosed properties, because they feel that a bank is going to just go ahead and give it away to a potential buyer who may end up getting a deal of their lifetime.
So if I was a buyer and I came to you and I was looking for the deal, can I ask you as an agent, I'm looking for, 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, but I just want to look at some of the foreclosed properties. Can I do that?
Certainly you can do that, yes, absolutely. And there are certain buyers that they start with that premise. Typically when I deal with investors, when I say investor, that's a very broad term. However, it's someone who's an experienced property, who's experienced in buying and selling properties. They wanted to purchase a certain number of properties because either they want to use those for rentals, or they wanted to think that they can get it for loaner price and then maybe turn around and flip it and make some money off of it. They would call me and say, AJ, I want you to start sending me a list of nothing but foreclosed or REO properties only.
Okay, so what would be another benefit? Why would you even want to look at a foreclosed property besides a deal? Is there any other benefit or value to it?
Not that I can think of that I would come to my mind. I mean, there's really no benefit. The whole premise of that is that you could potentially get just a great deal, and the deal could be a multitude of things, not necessarily just in the form of a low purchase price. So for instance, if properties are selling for $200,000 in a given neighborhood, that's the market value. And this foreclosed property can be bought for $175,000, and that is about $25,000 below what the properties are selling in that neighborhood. But it also could mean that sometimes these foreclosed properties, they come with a lot of upgrades in them. And that's what I'm seeing in some of the high-end properties that are being foreclosed on. They come with a lot of upgrades. They would have, let's say, extensive flooring, remodeling done, kitchen upgrades, all kinds of things, good appliances. And the banks, when they repossess them, when they foreclose on them, they're not going to be necessarily asking more money because the property is that well upgraded. 9 out of 10 times they don't even know those upgrades are so-called in their property. So that is another potential benefit or potential lure of trying to go for a foreclosed property that you could get again some form of a deal.
Okay. Now let me flip the switch on you for a little bit.
Okay.
If I was the agent,
Uh-huh.
and I have a buyer that's interested in a foreclosed property, and they make an offer, what do I do?
Well, I present the offer to the seller.
To the seller.
Well, and when I say seller, in this case, again, the seller would be an entity which is either the bank which repossessed, which foreclosed themselves, or either one of their subsidiaries, or it could be an investment firm which has bought a portfolio of these bank-owned properties, and they're just reselling it on the market. So yes, I would be making an offer to most likely a corporation or a company, which I would like to call as just as an entity, and present the offer to them on behalf of my buyer.
And then how long does it usually take to see if they approve?
Okay, that is, it could go a lot of different ways, but I'll tell you the typical ways. If the property is really one of the better ones in the market, which is typically when I show homes to buyers, what I found is that if the home is really in great condition, even though it may not be priced as aggressively as some other properties, most likely that is the home that everybody would desire to purchase, because if it's in a great condition, great location, everybody wants to buy that property. So depending upon the type of property and the condition it's in, and as far as what kind of price point it's offered at, there could be multiple offers on that property. Meaning other agents that are also working with similar buyers who are looking for the same kind of property at the same time, they make offers as well. And that would cause that seller to maybe take a little bit longer, which could take about 3 days to probably a week, before they may come to a decision and say, okay, I'm going to go and pick this buyer because this is the best offer for me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, and that's all the time we have for this week, and that is on REO Properties, which we know doesn't stand for Really Exciting Offer. Sounds better. But anyways, I'm Lauren Santagati, this is AJ Agarwal, and check us out at jacksonvilleguru.com to see what he currently has listed for sale. You never know, your house might be there. Bye.
Thank you so much, folks.